Alphabet Under Construction by Denise Fleming. Oh, already I'm noticing a mouse. I wonder if they're doing some of the construction. Mouse airbrushes the A. Air. A. So especially for my younger friends, good practice. And for my older friends, airbrushing is a form of painting where the paint sits in here and air is pumped through here and it pushes the pigment out almost like a jet or a water gun. And you can use it to paint things quickly. It also sort of works differently than paint you use with a brush. B buttons the B and carves the C. Buttons are harder than you think, actually. But carving, wood carving, is something that we like doing in forest time. We call it whittling. When you're doing it sort of on something big like this, you might call it carving. Dyes the D. There's all kinds of natural dyes. Maybe we'll try making and tinker with, or in forest time with like the black chestnuts or turmeric spice. But you can also dip dye as well, which looks like that might be what our mouse is doing. Erases the E. Folds the F. When you fold paper, the art of that is called origami. Glues the G, hopefully with Gorilla Glue. Hangs the H. Again, I know this is a younger book, but I noticed that the mouse needs 3 different points of support for this H. And when you are constructing and building, I think you should keep that in mind too, is how many points are you going to have to hold the weight of whatever you're suspending. Ices the T. That's cake. That's silly. That's not construction. Judges the J. It's pretty. Kinks the K. Okay, well sometimes when like you have a hose or something and it gets bent like this and water can't go through it, they call that a kink. Levels the L. So this is a leveler. It has often a little bead or a different sort of substance in it, you can see, and then a liquid, and it sits on top of things, and when the little color sits perfectly in the center, then it tells you that the thing you have is perfectly leveled, balanced, straight. And it's used from everything from building buildings to hanging a shelf or a painting. I think this mouse needs to pay more attention. Measures the M. Well, we do a lot of measuring. My first graders especially, you're going to become experts at measuring. Nails the N. Look at those bent nails. Nailing is harder than people think. Well, you can see that one is stuck all the way through. OK's the O. I guess it's more supervising than construction. What did you say? Sand, okay. Paint, okay. Ready to go, okay. All right. Prunes the P, again. Quilts the Q. Quilting is fun. This looks like he's just doing stitches around one piece of fabric. Quilting is usually you've lots of different kinds of fabric. Rolls the R. So that's a paint. When you paint with a sponge kind of tube, it's called rolling. And again, it can be faster than using a paintbrush. It's a different texture. Saws the S. That, with a handsaw, is going to take forever. There's cooler, heavier duty saws that cut a lot faster, like a circular saw or a jigsaw. And I would recommend a jigsaw for this because there's so many curves. And it's a little bit better for those. This is going to take that mouse all day. tiles the T. It's leaving a lot of gaps in those tiles. Can you imagine if you were in a bathroom or somewhere with tiles and there was that many gaps? I would stub my toe. I would trip. And also has tiny feet. Those feet are going to fit in those gaps. Unrolls the U. If you ever walk through the Tinker Lab, you'll see I've got a roll of paper just like this in my corner. Vacuums the V. One would argue that this isn't a part of construction or building, but actually you'd be surprised how much sawdust and dirt and all kinds of stuff ends up on the floor after a good build. Welds the W. So you see you've got a welding tool, and so there's actually flame coming out here, and it is being used in this case, I think, to connect these two pieces of metal through sort of melting them right at that point. And he's got safety goggles on, because you should not use power tools, especially not power tools with flames, without safety goggles and safety gloves. He really should have shoes on, and even I would say a thick leather apron to protect himself, because sparks can fly. X-rays the X. So when you use an X-ray, it's usually to look inside and see if something's broken. We can see that it's broken. I think this mouse is a little bit silly. Yanks the Y. Again, not sure. Oop, I know this one. Zips. Zips the Z. What a busy day. Oh, he looks exhausted. All right, work schedule. Oop. Apparently this took him all week, which I'm not totally surprised about. Hooray, halfway. Celebrate with me, Jam, and Linda. Oh, cute. Hooray. All right. The end.